My name is Troy Siebels. I'm the president and CEO of the Hanover Theater, and I'm the director of A Christmas Carol. I adapted the play from the Dickens novel, starting, gosh, it's almost 20 years ago now, at a theater in New Hampshire, American Stage Festival. And this will be, the Hanover Theater is the third theater at which I produced it, but the previous two productions were much smaller in scale. But I bring this up only to say that it's grown so much. You know, I did the original, call it a translation. It's not a translation, translating a book into a piece of theater, you know, and so when Dickens describes something with his beautiful florid language, in some places that's really wonderful, and in some places it falls flat on stage because you really want to see an actor make that happen visually before your eyes, actively, instead of you just using the words. So it's about trying to figure out what Dickens would have written if he had written a play. So we use a huge amount of actual Dickens language in the show, and then we also flesh it out to make it feel like we think the book feels. This will be our 10th year at the Hanover, and it'll be my 17th year doing the production overall. And it has really grown and blossomed in Worcester specifically. Some of the things that are unique to the Hanover Theater are really powerful in this. One of them is the Wurlitzer pipe organ that we use to accompany the show. It really just gives it a flavor unlike any Christmas carol I've ever seen. And another is the access to technology and ability that we have here in Worcester. And so I'm excited about taking that to the next level on this 10th year. Some of the things that have grown and changed over time are things that we've discovered from the audience don't have the kind of impact that we thought they would have. So there's a scene, for instance, in the book where you're in the Christmas future when Scrooge goes to visit the Cratchit house and with the spirit of Christmas future and discovers that Tiny Tim has died. And so we use this beautiful language out of the book about Mother Cratchit, and she's talking about how I'm sewing but my eyes hurt, I can't quite concentrate, and the grief is all there and it's in the words, but on stage, boy, it just doesn't have that. It doesn't ring true the same way it does when you read the book. So we added music to it, we took all that language out, and we added, well, we kept pieces of it, but mostly replaced it with music, and it is incredible how much more powerful it is now. And I believe that if Dickens were writing a play, he would have done that. I think that what we have now is so much more true to the way the work feels. We do things with the other spirits in the show. There's the ghost of Jacob Marley, and then there's the spirits of past, present, and future. And the Jacob Marley, the past and present, we do things to make them otherworldly. We do things to give them abilities. The ghost of Jacob Marley flies into Scrooge's room from above, and the ghost of Christmas past has some magic about her and things that a normal person can't do. But those things relate to Scrooge's past and things that he has a specific memory of. In the past, we're showing him things from his past. It's not just ethereal, some past, it's his past. And in present, we are here. The message is that this is the world you live in. It is not otherworldly. It's right outside your door. Christmas future is a little bit different. This is not something that has happened. It's something that could happen. And that's part of the message of the show, is not that it's something that will happen. It's something that could happen. It is a vision of something that ultimately we learn never turns out to be true. So it is otherworldly, sort of by definition. That is the one point in the show where we try to have things happen magically without an actor touching them. It is story theater in that when we make the Cratchit house, we do it by carrying a piece of furniture in. And when we make Scrooge's bedroom, we're doing it by pushing a wall. And we like to see the actors doing those things because they are part of creating that world physically, just as they do verbally. But in future, we try to make those things happen magically because it is a little different. It's a vision and not a reality. We started with a ghost of Christmas future that was taller than a person because we liked the dynamic with the spirit and Scrooge on stage, and Scrooge feeling small. So it's not to reinforce the fact that he has at this point in the play no control at all. He's tried to affect control over the ghost of Christmas past. Show me no more, haunt me no longer. He's tried to affect control, or at least put himself on a level with the ghost of Christmas present. He tries to ask questions and argue in a way with it. I think the message at this point is there's no arguing. He has no power. here. And so to reinforce that visually by having a spirit that is not of this world and is of a scale that is definitely oppressive to Scrooge. It also, to have something that's 9 or 10 feet tall moving like a person does is a little spooky. It's a little eerie. And face it, as an audience, we know that that's not a 10-foot tall person on stage. We know that we know instinctively that it is a puppet of some kind, but we expect it to act like that. We expect it to turn like this. We don't expect it to have the natural movement that I'm excited about being able to give it this year. And I think that is going to be a game changer for us. I think it's going to make it feel completely different. And the things we've done in the past are still valid in terms of the scale of the puppet and the blackness and the degree to which it approximates the look of death, the Grim Reaper, are all still valid, but I think being able to add that realism of movement is going to really change it. I think that there ought to be a lot of opportunities for partnership between the theater and technology through Technocopia and others. I think that I probably can't think of them all sitting here talking about it, because I don't know that I would have thought of this. It's something that came out of walking through the Technocopia space and talking to people and saying, oh, I wonder how that could apply to what I'm doing. And part of it is just getting outside your door and exploring what is out there. I think that in particular, the conservatory. We've launched the Hanover Theater Conservatory for the Performing Arts this year, and we're trying to really fill a gap left by the schools and create an opportunity for kids to participate in performing arts education, in theater and improvisation and dance and music. And there are ways to incorporate technology into those things now. This puppet is an example of how we're using technology to give an actor the opportunity to create so much more expression on stage, to create a character with so much more specificity and so much more dynamicism, that clearly technology has a role to play. And if this is the way of the future, we need to find a way to incorporate it into what we're teaching kids at the conservatory. I don't have an easy answer for how to do that, but we need to find it. I would just say that I have just found this to be such a collaborative community. I think that working with Technocopia specifically is such a joy, because you guys are so collaborative and inherently collaborative. You talk about here, what are you trying to achieve? Well, look at what we can do, and here's what we could achieve, and what do you think of this? And that's refreshing. I think in Worcester in general, we're good at collaboration, but this specifically, and this vibe we've got going and this partnership we've got going in this theater district, I think if we can carry this out to everything that we do, I think it'll just make everything more successful. I think that I always have Christmas Carol in the back of my mind, maybe. And so this came to me after walking through Technocopia and hearing you guys talk about the work that you do here and the things the capabilities that you have here, and then thinking, how can that impact what I'm already doing? Wow, that seems like it could have a real impact. And so we started a conversation, and it turns out there's something really magical that can come of it.